A very good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to Kalkine TV. I'm James Preston, live from Sydney, and it's lunchtime here, which means it's time for the mid-market pulse. In today's show, we'll take a look at the overall Aussie share market performance, the biggest winners and losers, and the stocks that are making headlines today. Australian shares edged higher in a volatile trading period on Monday, driven by mergers and acquisitions bonanza. A slew of companies announced merger news which boosted investor sentiments and pushed the market higher. However, losses in most of the sectoral indices, especially tech and healthcare, capped the up move. The benchmark index, the ASX 200, gained 0.37% by lunch. The index opened higher today, tracking firm cues from Wall Street, but soon slipped in negative terrain after New Zealand's inflation surged in the September quarter, raising the case for further interest rate hikes. Meanwhile, US stocks ended higher on Friday, with the S&P 500 notching its best week since July. The market sentiment was boosted by an encouraging quarterly earnings reports from several companies such as freight deliverer JB Hunt Transport Services and financial services provider Goldman Sachs. The S&P 500 gained 0.7% to end higher for the third straight session, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average surged by 1.1%. The Nasdaq Composite also added 0.5%. Back home on the sectoral front, 7 of 11 sectoral indices were trading in positive terrain. The energy sector was the best performer with a 1% gain, owing to a rise in crude oil prices. Among others, financials, materials, consumer staples, utilities, industrials and AREIT also traded higher. On the flip side, the tech sector was the biggest loser, down by 0.7% come lunchtime. The healthcare, consumer discretionary and telecom sectors also saw some selling activity. On the COVID-19 front, New South Wales reported 265 locally acquired cases and 5 deaths in the past 24 hours. In a major policy change, the state has decided to scrap quarantine for fully vaccinated international travellers from the 1st of November. New South Wales is the first state to remove quarantine for international travellers. Since March 2020, all states and territories have required all overseas passengers to quarantine in hotels at their own expense for 14 days. Meanwhile, Victoria continues to see a spike in locally acquired cases as it registered 1,903 infections and 7 deaths on Monday. Despite the rise in cases, the state government remained on track to remove COVID-19 curbs this week as it's set to achieve its vaccination targets. Under the latest easing of restrictions from 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, up to 20 people will be allowed indoors at pubs, clubs and entertainment venues. And in our next segment, let's now take a look at some of the top gainers and losers by mid-session trade. Metal and mining companies dominated the ASX gainers list, led by Oz Minerals, which rose by 4.5%. Some of the other notable gainers were lithium miner Orocobre, nickel miner Nickel Mines, mining and metals business South32 and diversified mining and exploration company IGO. On the flip side, online retailer Kogan emerged as the top laggard with a 3.2% loss. Other poor performers were gold mining company Evolution Mining and Ramelius Resources. Corporate bookmaker PointsBet Holdings and Australia's largest pizza chain Domino's all suffered. Time now for a very quick break, and on the other side of these messages, we take a look at stocks that are making headlines today. Hi there, James Preston for Kalkine TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. Kalkine's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Thursday on the Tech Beat, exclusive to Kalkine TV. Thanks for tuning in to Kalkine TV. I'm James Preston and this is the Mid-Market Pulse. Let's turn our attention now to stocks that are making headlines today. First on the list is Aussie energy business Senex Energy, which rallied over 15% by lunchtime. The share price of natural gas producer Senex Energy surged after the company received a $814.8 million takeover offer from South Korean firm POSCO International Corporated. The company informed its shareholders this morning that POSCO proposed to acquire a 100% stake in Senex for a cash offer price of $4.40 per share in September for this year. This was the third revised bid offered by POSCO, after an offer price of $4 per share on the 30th of July and $4.20 apiece on the 27th of August. The fresh proposal represents a 40% premium to the 30-day volume-weighted average price on the 2nd of September 2021 and a 19% premium to the 30-day volume-weighted average price on the 15th of October. Next up is Australian gambling machine manufacturer Aristocrat Leisure. Shares of Aristocrat Leisure have entered into a trading halt pending an announcement related to an entitlement offer. The company, in an exchange filing, said today that it has proposed to acquire a 100% stake in UK online gambling software and content supplier Playtech. The transaction involves a cash offer price of 680 pence per share, which values Playtech's entire share capital at around 3.9 billion Aussie dollars. This represents a premium of approximately 58% to the last closing price of Playtech on the 15th of October 2021. The Playtech board has recommended its shareholders to vote in favour of the deal. The acquisition will be funded by a combination of existing cash, a new term loan B issue and an equity raising round. Shares of homegrown gold producer Ramelius Resources dropped nearly 5%. The Western Australian-focused mineral explorer has proposed to acquire Apollo Consolidated through an off-market takeover offer. Apollo is a 100% owner of the Lake Rebecca Gold Project in Western Australia. Apollo shareholders will receive a cash consideration of 34 cents and 0.1375 Ramelius shares for each Apollo share held. The offer implies an enterprise value for Apollo of 128 million Aussie dollars, a 37% premium to the enterprise value implied by Apollo's 3-day volume-weighted average price of 94 million Aussie dollars. Turning our attention now to real estate investment trust GPT Group. The share price of GPT rose 0.5% by lunchtime after it acquired a portfolio of 23 logistics assets and one office asset from Ascot Capital for 681.7 million Aussie dollars. The acquired portfolio is 75% weighted to eastern seaboard states and also the ACT. The 23 logistics assets acquired are fully leased with a weighted average lease expiry of 9.8 years. The 6-level office asset acquired is well located in the centre of the Canberra CBD with a weighted average lease expiry of 4.7 years. The deal is expected to be closed in November 2021. And the last stock to take a look at is Australian-based marketing and print communication provider IVE Group. The company, in an exchange filing, said it has signed a pact to acquire a 100% stake in Active Display Group, a Melbourne-based AFI branding solutions company. The total transaction value of Active Display Group and AFI Branding Solutions is 6.5 million Aussie dollars, of which $5.2 million will be paid upon completion. The remaining $1.3 million will be paid based on the achievement of agreed revenue targets over a 24-month period. Alright, well that's all for the Mid-Market Pulse. Hope you enjoyed the program. Make sure to keep watching Kalkine TV for more trending market updates from Australia and across the world. I'm James Preston, signing off for now.